If you think of what you want to show before you write your scene, you're going to get your story completely off track. I'm going to spend the rest of this video explaining why. My name is Wendy Dale. I'm a Random House author and the founder of Memoir Writing for Geniuses. Today, I want to talk about one of the most common problems I see with my students, and that is the fact that they are using a scene because they want to show me something. So I see this time and time again with my students. They will turn in a scene and it's not working. And I have this conversation with them. I say, "So, why did you write the scene?" And I already know their answer before they even say it. "Well, I wrote this scene because I'm trying to show," and fill in the blank. And I don't even let them finish. And I rush in and I say, "A scene is not meant to show anything." This is something I repeat a lot to my students. And it's very true. And I want to spend this video explaining why. So here is the first problem with using a scene to show your reader something. The first one is that your reader is probably not going to remember what it is you think you're trying to show. Let me give you an example. So I had a student who was writing a scene about getting sick at Thanksgiving. So all this stuff happens in the scene, like Uncle Cyrus shows up, and then people are talking about Cousin Jessie. And then the narrator tells us how mean her sister is. Then they run out of dressing, and then the narrator gets sick and runs to the bathroom to throw up. So I read the scene and there's a lot happening. I'm like, "Well, why did you write this scene?" And the person says to me, "Well, I wanted to show how mean my sister is." And I was like, "Well, that's not what I got from this scene." And that is a common problem with using your scene to show something. So if you are using your scene to show me something, I would not count on your reader remembering that. What do I remember from that scene? I remember the narrator getting sick and throwing up. So one thing I say to my writers is, no one is memorizing your book. We're not going to take every word on the page and store it into our memory. What we do remember is the main thing that happens in your scene. You can count on that. Other than that, I would be really careful on expecting your reader to remember a lot of the things that you have put down on the page. So in other words, don't write a scene about getting a new Cabbage Patch Kid that year at Christmas to show me how cold it was that winter, right? You want that main event to be the reason your scene exists. Don't use a scene about graduating summa cum laude from Columbia to show me that you had a crush on the guy in line in front of you. That is not what people are going to take away from your scene. That is not what people are going to remember. What people are going to remember is that you graduated summa cum laude from Columbia. So that, in its essence, is what scenes do for your book. Something happens in your scene, and that is what a reader remembers. So if you are super smarty pants and you say, "Well, Wendy, I can still show with my scene because all I have to do is turn that main event into what it is I want to show." And so far, so good. You're not totally off track if that's what you're thinking. So let's work with this idea. Let's say that you do want to show me something with your scene. And so you're going to take what it is you want to show me and turn it into this main event that gives your scene a reason to exist. So let's say you want to show how kind your mother is, how your mother always takes care of you. So you create this scene. You've had a horrible night and you come downstairs in the morning and your mother has made your favorite chocolate chip pancakes, right? And so that is what happens. You eat chocolate chip pancakes that your mother has made. That is your event. And look, lo and behold, it shows me your relationship with your mother. Okay, so far, so good. Here is the problem with that. You started by wanting to show me the kindness of your mother, how your mother always takes care of you. What have you ended up with? You've ended up with this event of I am eating chocolate chip pancakes. You have to pick up where that left off. I don't know, do you get sick from eating chocolate chip pancakes? Do you go to school thinking of chocolate chip pancakes? Chocolate chip pancakes has infused itself into your plot. So you've written yourself into a corner. You were trying to show me something with your scene, but it crept into your plot. So this is problem number 2. Your reader totally gets what you're trying to show, but now you've created a whole new plot line. So let me just give you another example. You want to show me that kids are mean to you at school, so you create the scene about Mandy Jenkins stealing your notebook. That's what happens. Your main event reflects what it is you're trying to show. That part is fine, but now you've created this new plot line of Mandy Jenkins stealing your notebook. And so now you've opened up this whole can of worms, and people want to know, well, what happened with Mandy Jenkins? Do you continue being bullied at school? Do you ever get your notebook back? And if you only wanted to show something with your scene, that I'm having a rough time at school, now you have a problem because you've opened up this whole new plot line and your reader wants to know what's going on with Mandy Jenkins. So let's say that what you really wanted to do was tell me the story of getting a horse, right? And this horse meant so much to you because this horse was your only friend. You were having such a hard time at school. You were being bullied, and this horse came into your life at just the right time, right? So that's the story you want to tell. Now, if you insert the scene about Mandy Jenkins, you have a problem. You've inserted a whole new plot line. Let's say you don't want to do this, but you still want your reader to know, look, this horse means so much to me, especially because things are rough at school. How do you do this? Well, the solution is so simple, I am almost embarrassed to tell you. So the solution is this: just tell me. And I know what you're thinking. You're going to say, Wendy, what about show, don't tell? Okay, well, show, don't tell is probably the most misunderstood bit of advice in the history of writing. If you want to understand what it really means, I suggest you click on the video that I recommend at the end of this one. So, another thing you can do is look at any award-winning novel, and you will see that it is full of telling. For now, how do you let me know that getting thunder happened at around the same time that you were having a horrible time at school? Let me give you an example of how I would do this. I don't know if Thunder and I would have grown so close so quickly had it not been for what I was going through at school. Each day when I walked through the front door of McClintock High, I wondered what new horror awaited me. Sometimes it was arriving at my locker to see some new insult painted on it. Other days, it was getting something spilled on me, acrylic paint in art class, or mustard during lunch. But after school, things were different. I would race to Thunder and throw my arms around her neck. Okay, I don't know. I just ended there, right? I'm just making this up. So here, I'm just telling about my situation at school. I'm going to save my scene for my relationship with Thunder, for what happens with my horse, right? And so by not inserting a scene of Mandy Jenkins stealing my notebook, so not trying to show the situation at school, by just telling, I haven't opened up a whole new plot line. I haven't created this expectation in my reader's brain that what's going on with Mandy Jenkins, what's going on at school, what's going on with your bullying problem. So by not inserting a scene, I don't create the same expectation. I haven't opened up a whole new plot line. The solution is simply to tell. So what do I want you to take away from this video? Well, when you're about to write a scene, the first question you should ask yourself is not, what do I want to show? You should never ask yourself that question when it comes to writing a scene. Instead, you should ask yourself, what happens? That is what you need to know before you write a scene. But you can do both in your book. You can have a reader live through events with you in the form of a scene, and you can also tell them other information. So this idea that you must show your relationship with your mother, you must show what is happening to you at school, is really false. It will get your story off track. What you want to do is show us what happens in your book in the form of a scene, and you want to tell us everything else. If you'd like a free 7-part video class on how to structure your memoir, click on the link in the description below this video. Also, I suggest you watch this video, What Show Don't Tell Really Means. Take care, guys. See you next time.